Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yachodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yachodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yachodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Javam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Stodra Sadashri Srimad Abhay Charnaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, chapter 14. King Purura was enchanted by Urvasi. Text 40, 41, 42. So 40, 41 has no purport. I'll just read it. Then we'll chant together 42. Text 40. Antarvatnim upalaksha devim sa parayayo purim punastatra katobdhante urvasim viramataram. Understanding that Urvasi was pregnant, Pururava returned to his palace. At the end of the year, there at Kurukshetra, he again obtained the association of Urvasi, who was the mother of heroic son. Text 41. Upalabhya mudha yukthay samuvasataya nisham atainam urvasi praha kripanam virahaturam. Having regained Urvasi at the end of the year, King Pururava was most jubilant, and he enjoyed her company in sex for one night. But then he was very sorry at the thought of separation from her. So Urvasi spoke to him as follows. Text 42. Please repeat. Gandharvan upadhava imam dubhyam dasyanti mam iti tasya samstuvatah tushtaha agnistalim daduha daduhu nripa urvasim manyamanaha tam saha abudyata charan vane Gandharvan upadhave mam tubhyam tasyanti mamiti tasya samstuvatas tushta agnistalim thadurnripa urvasim manyamanasta sobudhyat charan vane Gandharvan upadhave mams tubhyam tasyanti mamiti tasya samstuvatas tushta agnistalim tadurnripa urvasim manyamanasam sobudhyata charan vane Gandharvan upadhave mams tubhyam tasyanti mamiti tasya samstuvatas tushta agnistalim tadurnripa urvasim manyamanasam sobudhyata charan vane. Please chant. Gandharvan upadeve mams tubhyam tasyanti mamiti tasya samsuvatas tushta agnisalim thadurnripa urvasim manyamanastha sobudhyata charan vane. Gandharvan upadave mams tusvam dashanti mamiti samsuvatastusha agnisalim tadurnripa Urvasim Manyamanasam Sabudhyata Charan Vane Gandharvanupate Vemans Turgham Sasanti Mamiti Tasya Samstuvatastushra Agnistalim Dhadurnripa Urvasim Manyamanasam Sobodhyata Charan Vane Mataji Gandharvanupate Vemans Tasya Samsuvatastushta Agnistalim Gandharvan unto the Gandharvas Upadahava go take shelter Imam this Tubhyam unto you Dasyanti will deliver Mamiti exactly like me or me factually Tasya by him Samstutva Samstutvata offering prayers Tushtaha being satisfied Agnistalim your girl produced from fire Taduhu delivered Nripa O king Urvasim Urvasi Manyamanaha thinking Tam her Sa he Pururava Abudhyata understood factually Charan while walking Vane in the forest. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Translation. Urvasi said, my dear king, seek shelter of the Gandharvas, for they will be able to deliver me to you again. In accordance with these words, the king satisfied the Gandharvas by prayers. And the Gandharvas, being pleased with him, gave him an Agnistali girl who looked exactly like Urvasi. Thinking that the girl was Urvasi, the king began walking with her in the forest. But later, he could understand that she was not Urvasi but Agnistali. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura remarks that Pururava was very lusty. Immediately after getting the Agnistali girl, he wanted to have sex with her. But during sexual intercourse, he could understand that the girl was Agnistali, not Urvasi. This indicates that every man attached to a particular woman knows the particular characteristic of that woman during sex life. Thus, Pururava understood during sexual intercourse that the Agnistali girl was not Urvasi. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swami Tiramine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tiramine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Parshatya Deshatarani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gandharvan upadhave mams tubhyam asanti mamiti tasya samstutvatas agnistalim taturnipa urvasim manyamanasam sobudhyata charanvane. In translation, Urvasi said, "My dear king, seek shelter of the Gandharvas, for they will be able to deliver me to you again." In accordance with these words, the king satisfied the Gandharvas by prayers, and the Gandharvas, being pleased with him, gave him an Agnistali girl who looked exactly like Urvasi. Thinking that the girl was Urvasi, the king began walking with her in the forest. But later, he could understand that she was not Urvasi but Agnistali. Hare Krishna. So, Pururava, Urvasi, how they united and what happened, the story last few days repeatedly we heard. So the lesson so far we learned, like in the beginning of this week, Chittahari Prabhu explained how all Bhagavatam, from beginning, from first canto, throughout all Bhagavatam is warning the association of women is restricted, should be avoided for spiritual advancement. If anybody is interested in spiritually advance, they should avoid. That's very much is warning is given. And then we heard also Jagan Mohan Prabhu explain how to understand the statements of Urvasi. Is very heavy to hear. Some of the ladies may misunderstand. They may, even in our Krishna conscious, practicing ladies, they may think, oh, what is this Bhagavatam giving such a very heavy words, hard words, and very difficult to understand. But he explained how we properly understand. These are general instruction is for common people, it's not for the Krishna conscious practitioners. And also, of course, we have to understand, even when we practice Krishna conscious, we have to have a restricted, relation, man and woman, if not your own wife, So, because still, even the completely perfected souls in the devotion path, they also follow this restriction like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other great personalities we hear. Even though they are not in the material platform, they show the example how much is important, how much association with women should be restricted. And what to speak of in our level, when we are not completely purified, still have material desire, and just speak like a big philosophy, we are not the body, we are spirit, soul, and we can just mingle each other, no problem, we are same platform, we are, we should see as a spirit, soul, all these things, big philosophy, speak then after having big trouble. And there's no more philosophy. They just completely bewilder in Maya's, world. So better not to, have such ideas. Better to, restrict ourselves and be safe in our spiritual progress. So, and also we heard Sri Ram Charana Prabhu explain how this modern world without any restriction, so much indulging in this sex, and the result is so much suffering. Is practically people, even though they think we are all enjoying, we are all very much happy, uh, and because of women liberation, the feminism, this and that, so many things they talk, and then all the ladies are nowadays, they go for higher study, and then they work and they earn money, and they live their own life, and they don't want to even get married, and so many things happening. It sounds like very much is advancing. The society is going very much advancing, and they are, all people are very happy. But actually the result, if you see, is not fact. And because just see the newspaper, just see the news, open, see that every day the number of the crime rate against women is keep on increasing every day, every day. So ultimately, who is suffering? The so-called, the women who wants, very happy, independent life. They are the one who suffers. Still, the people who follow the tradition, who follow the Vedic civilization, Vedic culture, they, who are under the protection of man, and they are safe. They are happy. They very happy life. They still you can see the ladies who, take their duty as a mother, as a daughter, as a, wife, and they are very happy in their position. And moreover, all these independent ladies who are the feminists, after, when they are young, they speak all this big philosophy, they go all around and earn money, all these things. Once they come up to 40 or after the 40, they all feel their life is completely, is completely without any goal, completely they feel frustrated. And many women are, especially in the West, it's very much the same. When they are old, if they don't have anyone, they know any relation, know any family, nothing, and they completely, completely just lonely, and they suffer more. So the result is really, suffering is increasing. So therefore, in the Bhagavatam is so much warning is given, so much is warning given, that so much detail, like this verse Prabhupada is explaining from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. It's not just saying it's just Maya and don't, associate with women is a danger. Not just that much. Going so much detail, like explaining here that the man is attached to a particular woman because particular characteristic. During sex, he's, expressing, and man is addicted to that. That much detail they go. So why? Because just, at least, after hearing all these things, one should come to the sense. One should become, sane, that, not acting insanely, completely, like a mad person. Like Rishabhadev says, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. Pramatta is become mad because of this sense gratification. And we see practically the whole world is people becoming mad. And they are ready to do anything because of this sex. And we see here that the Urvasi is from heavenly planet, and the Pururava is not just some, ordinary man. He is such a great personality. If you see the description of his qualities and his power and, strength, Narada is glorifying him in the heavenly planet. So means it's extraordinary personality. But when it comes and the, relation with the sex, then come to the lowest position, he is ready to accept any proposal by Urvasi. Sri Ram Charananda Prabhu explained such extent, he just doesn't make sense. Once a year, just one night, okay, still I am agree for it. Any proposal, anything, that lamps, that he goes out to search in the middle of night, and it just, even madman won't do it, But you become even worse than madman, actually, So, this is the power of this sex. Therefore, is so much warning is given, and people who follow, and we see they remain very, dhira, they sober person, and they are able to see what is what. They are able to see the reality. Otherwise, therefore it is said it's very, very rare, the people who take the spiritual path, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam Sakashreshu Kashityadati Siddhaye Edatam Api Siddhanam Kashinmam Veti Tatvataha. People who take the spiritual path, they are very, very rare, and there are very few who attain the perfection of life, and who understand Krishna as it is, as he is. Is very, very few people among those perfected people. So it's not easy. It's very difficult one. But the process which is given, the restriction, the rules and regulation, if we seriously, sincerely, if we just follow it, and it's possible. It's possible. It's not that, impossible thing. It's not that which is not related to us at all. The spiritual advancement and, get the real happiness, real Sachidan in the life. No, it is practical, it is possible, but we have to be very serious. We have to be very sincerely follow the restrictions. If you follow, it's possible. So, therefore, we see that here, even though this Pururava is such a great personality, but when he fell down, he acts like a madman, and he is ready to do anything. And what to speak of the ordinary people who have no any knowledge about anything about Shastra, anything like modern days. People have no idea what means restriction, what means sex life, what means family life, what means spiritual life. No idea. They live like even worse than animals. So, how they are going to control their senses? It's not possible. Unless if they come association with devotees, that they hear from devotees repeatedly, again and again. Even if we hear again and again, like we practice Krishna consciousness, we hear every day Bhagavatam, and it's very difficult for us. And what to speak people who are not at all, hearing this message. So their result of all these activities, all these sex indulgence, is people become more and more suffer. They struggle to live because they want to enjoy more and more, and then by any mean they want to have sex. They by any mean enjoy their senses. So whether the means the earning money, whether is dharmic way or adharmic way, whether sinful way, they don't mind. And because of that, all the people today, most of the rich people, they earn sinful way the money. It's not, no one is, sinful. People, engage so much sinful activity. And because of that, more and more they bound in this material world. And worse than that, today in the modern society, because they have no this knowledge, the real knowledge, and they promote more and more about this sex, how to enjoy. Like His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj in Brahmacharya book, he mentions that there are several books, not several books, there are hundreds of books actually, they are writing how to improve the sex. There are so many books are available. And today in this modern world, this social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, this, that, and all these places where you can find hundreds and thousands of videos, talking about these kind of things. And what to speak, today the government is pushing so much to have the sex education in the schools for children. And the result of all these things, society completely chaos, completely, going mad. And we see that the young, like, 5-6-year-old girls are getting raped, and even the school children, they are love affair, they are trying to have sex. All these things are happening. It's very unnatural thing, because artificially they are all pushing. They think this is the life, this is happiness, this is for what we are here. The world is created for our enjoyment, and let us enjoy. That is their philosophy. But actually, the Shastra is warning is given that if one is inclined and advanced in spiritual life, you should avoid the association with women. And not only that, it's more warning is given that the people who are more associating with women, their association, like the people who associate, who have so much lusty desire, if you associate with them, that is even worse. Because they all the time keep on talking that. If you associate directly with women, you may not think of women all day, and you may not, hear so much. But if you associate with the and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the symptom, what is the character of Vaishnava? He says, Asasanga Tyaga e Vaishnavachar. Satsanga is very much recommended, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say Asasanga Tyaga that is the, if one is avoiding Asasanga, he is Vaishnava. So that is Mahaprabhu's definition of Vaishnava. That means we understand that because these materialistic people, they all the time keep on talking these things. I have experiences sometimes when we previously used to go in the mechanical workshops to bring our vehicles for a repair. Several hours you may have to stay sometimes, to get done your job, because once you leave the vehicle and they don't do it, they do some other work, and then next day they keep on postpone. But sometimes you have to stay there and push, the work is done. And then when you stay there, if you see the people, what they speak and what they, hear or what they read, it is completely, it's just, about sense gratification, nothing else. nothing about, good. So it's very difficult to live with these people if you don't associate. Uh, if you associate with them, and it's very difficult to practice Krishna conscious. So therefore, it's very much restricted, and very much warning is given in so many different way. And practically, devotees before coming to Krishna, most of us, not from the childhood, except few our devotees children, we are all come kind of, later, after 10, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, our life, we come to Krishna consciousness. So before that, most of us have some experience what means this material life. And if you are really serious, we should, avoid again go to that material sense gratification. Because Shastra is giving us very clear instruction that any sense gratification has a beginning and end. So ultimately your life is getting frustrated even if you obtain it. Most of the people, they don't get it. They decide so many things. And if they don't get it, and they get upset completely, they get anger, and then, they bewilder and their life is ruined. Because when you bewilder, when you are not having proper knowledge, and you do the activity which is abominable, which ruins your life. And even if you obtain anything which is giving sense pleasure, but ultimately is a temporary thing. Adhyantavanta kaunteya, Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, is adi anta. This is the beginning and end is there. So therefore the intelligent people, the intelligent people, they don't, indulge in this temporary pleasure, which is obtained by the senses. So the really intelligent people should take the life for the spiritual advancement. Again, Rishabhadev instructing his sons, because the sense pleasure is there even in the animal life. That is not glorious to live, same style of life like dogs and hogs. Say, Nayam deho dega bhajan raloke kastan khaman arhate vid bujhami. He said that the stool-eating pigs, they have also family, they have also sex, they also, enjoy their life. Remember that Leela that when Indra become pig, and he was enjoying the pig's life. He doesn't want to even go back to heaven. That much he was completely in that pig life. He was, feeling I'm enjoying, everything is okay. So our consciousness becomes completely dull. Especially this sex means is the lowest, the very grossest bondage for the jiva. The whole world is, Prabhupada said that the whole world is running because of this sex. So, even the animals enjoying, which are lower creatures, and same enjoyment. And what is the great thing, enjoying, working so hard. Man is working for this sex enjoyment so hard. And while, working means you have to spend your energy, your time, so much, and, sweat, and sometimes, so hard they work, they even, they have to lose their blood. Sometimes some accident happens, sometimes something, happen. Still they go on work to earn money. And then after having this sex, Prabhupada explained that, this also is, again you are losing. People, they think they are gaining, they are enjoying. But actually this each drop of semen, when you lose, you are losing your blood. 60 drops of blood you have to spend to get one drop of semen. Means again, whole day you are, spending and losing your life for this so-called sex. And then in the night, again, you are losing only. And then because of that, again, your memory, your, all the good qualities, you are not intelligent, you become completely dull, and, all these good things. If you control your senses, you become, you can, learn many things, you can remember things, and you can have a very good senses, you can, engage your senses properly in Krishna conscious, peacefully, without disturbance. Today's society, all are completely disturbed, no concentration for anything. Cannot, few seconds maximum. More than that, they cannot concentrate in anything. So much disturbed because of this, all these things. Yeah, determination is not there. And you see there are so many, these so-called these sex doctors, they are increasing everywhere. Salem, one famous doctor is there. Always is full. So many youngsters are coming. They all have, their nerves weakness, and if they get married and they cannot have children. So many problems, so much tension, so much problems are coming because of this. Over-intelligence, this sex. So, but this is just, even animals they have. This is not a great thing at all. This much we should understand. Therefore, Rishabhadev says that the life is meant to have a tapodhivyam putrakaya ena sattvam shrudayet yasmat brahma saukyam tvanantam. The life to obtain the brahma saukyam, the real happiness, to understand that I am spirit soul, aham brahmasmi, that I am servant of God. By engaging, by serving God, we get real pleasure, real enjoyment. Goal of life, Srila Prabhupada once devotees asked, what is the goal of life? Enjoyment, enjoying. So what is real enjoying? Enjoyment is in Krishna consciousness. Now the enjoying means like a karmis thing, the sense enjoyment. In Krishna consciousness, hearing about Krishna, chanting Krishna's holy name, taking Krishna prasadam, using all our senses, all our mind, everything in Krishna's service, that is real enjoyment. That is real happiness. Because as a spirit soul, our constitution position is, we are, made of anantamayo vyasat. So, to be happy is not, anything sinful. It's not, wrong thing. It's our, we have rights to be happy always. We are. But just only thing, we are looking in the wrong way, in the wrong place. That only we have to change. We have to change our vision that, this sense gratification is not the goal of life. Once we understand that, then life becomes very peaceful, very easy. And we see the many, many devotees who take up Krishna consciousness, who they are seriously practicing, and they become very peaceful, very, very, sober, and they are, very cool, and they take any difficult situation comes, they can handle it, they can, see the family, you know, everything is happen normal, and they are not much disturbed by all this outside society, so much problems, the neighbors, the relatives, all this pressure. They are not disturbed because they concentrate, they, serious in Krishna consciousness, they concentrate in how to advance in Krishna consciousness. So they spend their most of the time in Krishna consciousness, and they become very peaceful. And people who are in the beginning stage, who are not much able to spend their time in Krishna consciousness, and we see all the time they have a problem. Prabhu, what to do, this problem, that problem. Relatives come, they ask us to eat in their house, they are asking us to take to restaurant, they are asking us go to cinema, this, that. So many problems, devotees, in the beginning. But if you are really serious, if you just, spend more time in Krishna consciousness, more, take this process seriously, then it becomes easy. So then real happiness comes. Not that we have to. This actually, this material body itself is not necessary for us as a spirit soul. Is unwanted thing, is foreign thing. Prabhupada says, is the body itself is, shows, is a proof that we are sinful and we are meant to suffer here. And as a spirit soul, we don't have to have this material body at all. If you understand that soul can exist without this material body, soul has its spiritual form. The real, now we are struggling to enjoy with this temporary body, with the temporary senses, but actually we don't have to struggle for it at all. We have our spiritual, eternal body, blissful body, full of knowledge, Satchidananda body we have. We can just, develop that, and real happiness we can have by the association of devotees, by the association of holy name, by the association of Krishna. We can, all the process Prabhupada is given very perfectly, all the powerful process is given. So if we just take up this seriously, and then we can have a very happy life, very peaceful life. It's like, again, karmis, if we don't dedicate, if we don't, completely become serious in Krishna consciousness, completely take up Krishna consciousness seriously, then we go on struggle. One side in the material life, one side in the spiritual practice, both sides we are not able to, satisfy ourselves. Then we go on struggle like that. But if we understand this material life is like that, nothing is permanent, nothing is real happiness is there. So then you take up this seriously, fully. As soon as possible, we have to take up one day. We have to surrender to Krishna. Not that you go on for years and years, struggle with the same 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, like that. No, just take up seriously 10, 16 rounds, come for Mangala Arati, attend as much as possible programs. Then slowly by association of devotees, you will get, strong desire to, be more serious. Then once you become more serious, then you see that it's big change. It's not so difficult because we understand even the material needs is Krishna only is providing. It's not that by our endeavor, our work, our, management, our skill. If we think, then we are never, get out of these problems. So many devotees in the beginning stage, they have this problem. What to do? I have to work, I have to earn, I have to. Yes, you have to. That doesn't mean that, you just lay down in the house and everything will be, Krishna will come personally and take care of you like that. It's not like that. You have to do your duty, but not same time they think that I'm the controller, I'm the one who is taking care, I'm the one, without me nothing will move. All my families depend on me. Completely thinking that without Krishna, I'm doing everything. Not like that also. So then, if that understanding is there properly, then his spiritual life becomes, easy. Otherwise, we try to one side enjoy the material life, and other side we also want to advance in spiritual life. It's not possible. No one is progressing like that. There are not even one single example you can show that somebody is, having so much material desire and fulfilling that one side, and other side also advancing in Krishna consciousness. There's nobody. You may, for some time struggle, but ultimately one day you have to decide either that side or this side. Yes, our nature is we are tatastha Shakti. We are either this side or that side. We can be for some time thinking this side or that side, but one day we have to go either side. But better go to the spiritual side, because material side is anyway, and that is not meant for us. That's not our constitutional position. And so Prabhupada is so kind, and he gave us very, very, very clear understanding. And if you just regularly hear his lectures and read his books, and so clear, so, there's no confusion at all, no, doubt. Everything is very clear, as Arjuna says, Nasta moha smriti lavta. We just hear regularly, be with the devotees, everything will be cleared. Everything becomes very, very clear. Then it becomes easy, the Krishna conscious life. Hare Krishna. So I stop here. Is there any question or comment? Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this sex is binds even in the heavenly planets. What to speak, the earthly planets or lower species. Yeah, whatever the background is, binding forces can come any form, especially the sex form is very powerful thing. Yeah. 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 Yeah, one devotee suddenly start to learn some language which is nothing to do for him in his spiritual practice. Suddenly, because the woman whom he attracted, she was learning the language, and he was to impress her by learning that language, which is not at all necessary for his life. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. But suddenly, you just so much inspired to learn something which is not at all even necessary. Yeah, we have to be careful. Also, other side, I was thinking another point. Actually, I forgot that sometimes extremely, especially ashram devotees, brahmacharis, they think in opposite way. Like in Brahmacharya book, we hear that we should not think of women, we should not talk about women, should not associate, and all these restrictions are there. Another side, they become too much, and they all the time speaking against women. But in the mind is always the women they carry. That story, like the two brahmacharis crossing the river, and then an old woman was there, and she asked to help to cross the river, and one of them carried her and left it to the other bank of the river. And then other one is, he didn't want, and then he was, after reaching their place, and then he still, how much? Too much. How can you do this? And he was, so much arguing with the other person who carried the woman, You can't do, you are brahmachari, you can. And the other person said, you see, I carried the woman from one bank to other bank, and I left her, and you are still carrying, you are, after so many hours, still you are carrying in the mind like that. So he developed the attachment because of so much aversion that without proper understanding. That also we have to be very careful. Sometimes devotees, they talk so much against when such a topic comes, and so much, so harshly, and then keep on against women, then suddenly you see ashram changes, because the mind, you can develop attachment that way also. Yeah. So we discussed in Nectar of Devotion class when we had, because there is example given, the Kamsa and Shishupala also was thinking of Krishna, but not Anukula, but Pratikula. But their explanation is given, Prabhupada speaks, even in that way also is theoretically is possible to develop attachment to Krishna. But the explanation is given that you have to give up after developing attachment to Krishna, even like a Kamsa or Shishupala, by fear or by envy, you can develop attachment to Krishna, but one moment you have to give it up, that quality, fear or envy. Then you can become Krishna conscious, you can remain in Krishna conscious. If you keep on that, fear or envy, you cannot. Yeah. Envy. The Shishupala was envious, Kamsa was in fear, in both is given. So similarly that, even if it is, you think that against women, if you keep on thinking that, then you develop attachment to that. So it's not that you have to speak all the time against women. You have nice things to speak about Krishna, Krishna's creation, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, so much nice things. Yeah. You have to go multiple. One is the space. Okay. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.